uses you. Ultimately, we are here to manage the karmic life because it relates to the ultimate life, which is transcendent of karma. They have to be one and the same thing. It's a paradox. So you have karma, you have to master karma, otherwise you can't master no karma. So before you can get to no karma, you have to master karma. And I used to say that when I was a young teacher as such. So you can't transcend what you haven't mastered. You can ignore it, but you can't transcend it because you haven't mastered it. It's not an unfoldment, it's not a progression. The same with the melodies. Okay, you got to learn melodies, and you have to learn time, you have to learn your basic music. Otherwise you're not going to transcend it. You can escape it, you can avoid it, but that's not transcending it. And that's a profound, simple point. When people say, oh, well, I'm free of music. I say, oh, good. You don't sound it. Sound like you should go back to school to learn music. That's different. Okay? See, because when you are free of music, actually, in the way that I speak it, then all you have is beauty coming out of you. See, I don't mean just diatonic, harmonic, classical beauty. I mean just pure beauty because your bones feel it. It's not unhappiness. It's ecstatic. Presence and creation. It's beyond your idea of beauty. It's ugliness, but beautiful ugliness. It's cosmic. Then it's the universe coming through you. That's transcendent. Spontaneous expression. Some would say that's enlightenment at the same time. Well, it's ensoundment because we're not talking about enlightenment. We're talking about what I call ensoundment. It comes of itself. At its own level, at maximum intensity as well as sublime simplicity. Altogether.
So you're talking about, let's say, learn it to burn it?
Always. But it's easier said than done. People learn it to be it and let that play them. Because most people are materialized, so that's what you expect them to do. You know, like when it comes to boppers, you know, guys get stuck in bop. And they feel it, no, that's divine. Yes, it is. If you don't know any better, it's all divine. Whatever you don't know, yeah, it's divine. When you get it, you learn it. And that becomes your choke. What you learn becomes your choke. It uses you. So what you practice becomes your choke and it uses you. Because that's what you sound like. You're practicing your music. See? Mechanics comes out. It's not fresh, it's not raw, it's not real. See? It's not awakened in a sense. Yeah, it's not awakened. It's not awakening. So this is what I'm saying. You spoke about a Trungpa who had his own way with that, but I'm doing what I have to do with the music because that's how it was given to me from the beginning. So what I was born to do, see, and then teach beyond whatever I learned, by practicing being beyond whatever I could learn, by practicing being beyond learning. And that's not a negation of the process of education and let's say, inspiration. See? It's a manifestation of realization that it's everything and nothing at the same time. So it's not about notes, it's not about rhythms, it's not about harmonies. After a while, all these things take on their own shape and form. Once released to the genius of itself, then it has its way. Yeah. And it is what it is at that point. It's not chaos. It's majestic beauty that is transcendent, so it's not for everybody to like. Just as in the transcendent literature, not everybody comprehends what transcendent wisdom is either. Okay? It leaves a lot of people aghast. And so it would be that way relative to music too. Not that I'm an example of that, but this is along the lines of what could be exemplary for other peeps.
So the concern is never, let's say, the finished product, but the process of creation? As
I have said many times, it's more process. And that becomes a product. But it's not about not finishing. You can finish anything you want. Once I commit my mode of intelligence to composing, I'm going to be doing it. I don't have any interest in composing right now. I have more interest in decomposing. The truth. I know it sounds a little bit kind of in reverse to the order of ordinary logical thinking, but that's the way it is. See, it is the reverse of it. It has to be that way.
And is that simply a process of getting to the mechanics or you know, the materials that make up expression? You know, like deconstruction?
What do you mean, what makes up expression?
Well, the mechanics of, let's say...
well, listen, when you have a certain, let's say, realization of it, it's always happening by itself. There's nothing you or anybody else can do about it. It's like breathing. As long as you're breathing, you're living, you're doing. You can get on with what you have to do. It's that fundamental in the case of what I'm speaking about in terms of true hearing. It's the same thing. But I've never heard any other musician speak in this language. Therefore, I know it's upon me to put it forth. So I'm busy doing it, not for me. I don't need to know this language. I'm already living it. I've already realized it. So now to make it of educational value to other peeps, and particularly a cultural interest to peeps that this happened here in the United States, I think that's important for certain peeps, or by a Puerto Rican, if you want to reduce it to a Hispanic, cat from, the ghetto or something. Yeah, I mean, that could be significant. In other words, yeah, it doesn't matter where you're born. It depends on what you're open to function as. So it's not about culture. It's not about your race. It's about your space. Your inner space. If you have any inner space, forget about your race. That's important up to a point. And after that, it's beyond that. Come on now. What are we, just earth beings? Like racially preoccupied earthlings in a universe of what? Race? One race? What, the human race? The human race right now is not racing anywhere except nowhere fast, right? On a ship that's dying, choking and gagging, called Earth. We're in trouble here, right? Weather's going bananas. But I'm not saying that's how it appears to us. The weather is perfect, based upon all things considered, right? Climate warming or global warming or whatever. All of this is part of the natural way the Earth has always been and needs to be forever. Even if she implodes temporarily, she's going to survive this, unless there is an unforeseen mishap with another planet that could tumble in and then create real problems and threaten the existence of the Earth as it is right now. But that's not known right yet, see? So the changes that we're seeing are not particularly and absolutely human created. There's no such thing. We are earth beings. The earth creates what happens to the earth. Now and always, it's the earth. Right? When the earth is tired of this game that we're playing, then the earth blows a couple of super volcanoes and the lights out for a few thousand years. No doubt about it. But she's enjoying this, obviously, and so are we. Shoot.